ॐ नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय.
It's a little bit convoluted. It's a little bit difficult to understand, right? Maybe we need to read through it a few times to sort of get the gist of it. But if you've studied any of the Upanishads before, any of these things, these statements before, it starts to make sense. You see how Shankara has got a very superficial understanding of the Upanishads, and Ramanuja goes much deeper than that. So Shankara is simply thinking, oh, Swetaketu means just this person, Swetaketu, like that. But it actually means something much deeper than that. It means the soul of Swetaketu, like that. So that thou art, it doesn't mean what the Advaitins say. They have the wrong idea about it, and that's the first part that we're talking about. There'll be other things that Ramanuja will discuss. But do we understand the back and forth of those questions and problems?
I cannot say that I understood everything, but I understood the main idea.
Sure. So yeah, of course.
I have a question that the followers of Sangraha, they have these Mahavakyas,
right,
like Tat Asit Jagat Mitya Brahman
Aham Brahmasmi Savidam Idam Kalvam Brahma, whatever.
All of those come from the Upanishads, right?
Yes, they're all Abheda Shrutis. They're all sections of the Upanishads which talk about oneness. They ignore the other sections, or they rationalize some reason to object to them. The Beta Shrutis, the ones that talk of difference.
I just have the question that regarding the Mahavakya of Brahma Satyam Jagat Mityan.
No, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mitya is not a Mahavakya.
Not a Mahavakya.
That's Shankara's idea.
Oh, okay.
That's not a Mahavakya. If you look, actually, even if you look in Prabhupada's books in Chaitanya Charamrita, when it talks about Lord Chaitanya going to Benares and talking to the Mayavadis, they'll talk about the whole Dasnami system of sannyas in Mayavada. They have 10 names that they take, the sannyasis, and they also have different mutts, and the different mutts have, each one of them has a slogan, which is a Mahavakya. So they have different Mahavakyas, which they particularly like. Their particular mutt likes, so Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Savidam, Saidam Kalbam Brahma, whatever it is, which we mentioned here a little bit, Aham Brahmasmi, there's a Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that's another one, so there's a few of them.
Oh, okay, this answered my question.
Yeah, so you were just asking about Brahma Satyam Jagat Mitya, but no, that's just Shankara. That's just Shankara's. That's like condensing Advaita into a slogan. But that's not from the Upanishads. That's his idea.
I just was wondering how it's possible that Jagat, the creation, is false, and Ramanuja holds that it's real. So I was trying to understand that, but.
Yeah, no. I don't think. I mean, unless I'm wrong, there's nowhere in the Vedas, in the Shruti, that says that. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, then there must be some reason. There must be some explanation of mithya that doesn't mean illusion. Yeah, or false doesn't mean false. We could look up the word mithya and see what it means in the dictionary too. There may be, every Sanskrit word has got many meanings also.
Yeah, also in this part of what we read today, Ramanuja mentioned that the word Veda means to adore, worship, right?
Well, Veda, strictly speaking, is knowing, for instance, we have also in the Charma Sloka 1866 of Bhagavad Gita, we have the word Vraja. And Vraja is a verb, a verbal form, but it has the intended meaning of being more mental. The surrender, Sharanam Vraja, has more of a mental meaning than a physical meaning, So that's stated in some commentaries and things like that. But So the thing is, in Sanskrit, there are many words which are made out of verbal roots. So these roots are called dhatus. So there is a list of about 2,200 roots in Sanskrit called Dhatupata. And Panini has made this Dhatupata into a separate book. And you can get that book. And the idea is, if you find a lot of nouns, all the nouns and all the different words in Sanskrit that are not just nouns but also verbs, have come from those roots, those verbal roots. And so if we look, like for instance, we have the word diksha, right? Diksha, or mantra even, right? Diksha, diete, shiate. It comes from two verbs. So if we look at, so diete means to give, something is given, divine knowledge is given. Shiate, sin is destroyed. So there's some statements to give the definition of a word. There's a book called Nirukta, which gives like sloka definitions, and you can also get different definitions of words from the verbal roots that the words are made up of. So the word diksha, we understand what diksha means. But if we divide it up into di and ksha, there are two verbs that it comes from, and we can look at what is the meaning of di and what is the meaning of ksha. So when we say ksha, anytime we see ksha, K-S-H, right, K-S with a dot, right, it means destruction. It means some type of destruction. Shrom is the Narasimha Bija, like that. And, or Kshatriya means to hurt or destroy, right? So Kshiyate means to destroy. Diyate means to give. So whenever we see di, it means to give, right? So then if we put those two things together, we give something is given and something is destroyed. So in Diksha, knowledge is given and sin is destroyed. All right. So if we see other words like that, we can then find out the essential meaning of the word. Like we know mantra. You know what a mantra is. A mantra is a Sanskrit slogan, is a Sanskrit spell that people can use and chant and meditate on and like that. But manaha trayate iti mantraha, right? So manaha means the mind, and trayate means to deliver, right? So that thing which can deliver the mind is a mantra, like that. So, or control the mind, whatever it is mantra. So when we look at the verbal roots of Sanskrit words, they go back to their essential verbal roots. We get we get more detail about their meaning. Yeah. So Panini did it like that, and so a lot of these words, when he says that Veda also in this sense means worship, upasana. It's only natural that if we have knowledge, when we're full of knowledge, our essential nature is to worship God. That's what it's basically saying.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can talk to some grammarians also. If we talk to Tirunarayana and we find the Sanskrit part of that part of Vedartha Sangraha, where Ramanuja explains that when he says Veda, sometimes in the particular context, it means to adore or to worship, then we can show it to Tirunarayan and he can explain why it would mean that. But
those notes in the text are by the author, not by Ramanuja, by the translator.
Right. But the thing is, whatever Ramanuja's written, Vedartha Sangraha is not by itself. There may be commentaries by other acharyas on Vedartha Sangraha. So they will try to, and Ramanuja may have used the word Veda in other places in his books like Sri Bhashya or Vedanta Deepa or Vedanta Sara or Gita Bhashya. He may have used the same verbal root or the same word Veda, and he may have used it in that way. So when the author says that, he says that he has a reason for saying that. Maybe we don't know the reason yet. Maybe Ramanuja said it in the text, or maybe he's hinted at it in the text, or maybe a commentator has said it, or maybe he said it in another text. So we don't know. Maybe it's a speculation by the author. We don't know. We don't know like that. You're right. You're right to say that we should look, if anything is said in the notes, which is not actually said in the Mula, which is the part which is actually written by Ramanuja, yeah, we can investigate that. This would be a very good thing to do, is look at the other PDFs that I sent you of the other people's translation and see what they say about it. And for example, this one by Van Buitenen, he's a scholar, so probably if the meaning is there, if the meaning is there in any commentary or any grammatical way, he will probably mention it in a footnote. As a scholar, he'll probably mention that. This particular one is easier reading for sure, but it may, the person who wrote the notes may not give all the references to where he gets that idea.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a good idea to check that out, and I also thought that myself. So this is a good homework to do, is look in the other, if you have time, right? Look in the other Vedartha Sangrahas and see if it's mentioned. If it's not mentioned, then we need to look at the actual text in Sanskrit and maybe some commentaries, and we need to ask somebody who's more familiar with the text or more familiar with Sanskrit, like Dr. Turnryan, and we'll ask and we'll find out.
Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo